We're on. It's Triple Cross. I'm John. That's Casey. We're talking football and baseball. Can you hear me? Is my volume is my mic working?
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and that means everything works, and that is nice. That is good. That is neat. Casey, baseball happened. Just
Sure did, John.
Yeah, baseball games were played. If you guys don't know the deal on this podcast, for every 10 likes on the video, we give away a $25 gift card. So get the likes up. I'm out of breath because I was dancing to our intro music.
You can't not dance to that intro music.
It's tough not to. Especially
it goes so hard. You know,
it does go hard. Yeah, especially if you're standing up. What are you gonna do? You just gonna stand there and not dance?
How
like a
dare
chump?
you? Don't even think about it.
Baseball happened. I googled baseball to see what happened. I guess the wild card is a 3-game series. I think we don't cover baseball, so if somebody in the chat wants to tell us how the wild card works, it seems to be a 3-game series in which it looks like I deleted that Google search. So let me Google baseball again.
Good stuff, John.
See what happens.
We're off to a strong start, y'all.
Real strong. It looks like the Rangers beat the Rays in the wild card, which means the Rays are out, and the the Twins beat the Blue Jays, which means the Blue Jays are out, and the Phillies beat the Marlins. The Phillies were your team, so that means the Marlins are out. So the Phillies are in. So we got Rangers, Orioles, Twins, Astros, Phillies, Braves, and Diamondbacks and Dodgers in the actual real playoffs.
Yeah, whatever Phillies fans say. Let's go, that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Love Brothers or something like that.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Get some cheesesteaks.
Bells are awesome.
Fuck spinach. That's probably what they say.
That's all I know about Philadelphia.
Benjamin Franklin. I don't know.
Probably electricity. Mother effers.
Yeah, so Philly, they're in. Football also happened yesterday, Casey. Before we get into that, I'm going to remind everybody, because we got 12 people watching right now. Everybody get the likes on the video. We already have 10 likes on the video. As soon as we get to 20, we will give away a $25 gift card. I see 10 or I see 9 on there right now. So we'll give away $25 gift card as soon as we get to 20. We already owe you guys one $25 gift card for getting us to 10. Casey, I don't know what to say here. Do I say, how about them Bears? Or do I just say, man, the Commanders? Whew. I don't know. How do you feel about this? Do you think it was like a good
ding dang walla bing? You remember that? You just kind of started that off, and
isn't there like a thing with it? Like, I don't know.
Probably was
little hand dance.
You know what? There was. I'm sure.
Yes.
Now.
100. Yep. Yeah. No. Thanks for having my back on it. You know.
Oh yeah, I'll have your back, your front, your sides. Top,
definitely
bottom,
got my
all
front.
of it. I got you, bro.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do you think? Bears good, Commanders bad. Both. Your choice.
Both are bad, probably.
Yeah, the Bears aren't good. I don't think we can take this game and be like, "Hey, look, the Bears are good, guys."
Hey, you guys heard of this 1-4 football team that's just absolutely killing it? Like, nobody's ever said that.
They've had a good game. Yeah,
they had a phenomenal game, for sure. I have DJ Moore in like 4 fantasy leagues. He's probably my second highest exposure player.
Yeah, that worked for you this week.
About it.
Yeah,
pretty stoked. And you know what's beautiful about it is he's a guy who hasn't been killing it so far the whole year. So he might have been like a start-sit kind of decision for some people, depending on your roster. But he did just good enough last week. Last week he had like a little bit of a mini breakout, better than average performance. So I think a lot of people were feeling confident in him coming off of that performance. So now, I mean, people just feasted. I don't know. In a full PPR league, he had 49 points, I think is what it was.
Jeez.
I'm winning every matchup I have him in this week.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. It's great to know that you win on Thursday night.
Yeah, well, and I think it's like you were really low, right? Like having a high exposure guy that we kind of thought Justin Fields was like really going to be good this year. There was even some talk about him having like an MVP candidate type year. DJ Moore going to be the number 1 guy. So having a lot of exposure on DJ Moore seemed pretty safe when you drafted. And then we've had 3 weeks of like, what is happening here? This is awful. And then finally, I actually thought, for a minute there when it was 30-20 and the Commanders were kicking that field goal, and I thought
you need to go to jail, sir. Are you kidding me right now, John? I can't believe we're doing a podcast together. Who do you think
'cause
you
I said
are?
the Redskins.
What?
Yeah. How dare
You need to cancel yourself. If you had any self-respect, you would cancel yourself right now.
aren't the Indian tribes like, no, bring it back. We actually wanted it to be the Redskins.
Yeah, of course they are. Because there's no rules that make any sense these days, John.
Yeah. Anyway, when the Washington football team that is currently known as the Commanders were about to kick a field goal, and it was like 30-20, and it was going to be a one-score game, I was like, I honestly thought, like, I think the Bears might lose this. Like, they might just find a way.
Oh no, I fully thought as soon as they started getting momentum going, I was like,
oh, there it
Bears
was.
are gonna do it again. Like they're
Yeah,
the
Bears-
best team at blowing a lead for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah. There's no better team in the league at finding a way to lose than the Bears. So
That's the best compliment you could give them.
I thought the Bears would be, they'd find a way. I really thought they would find a way
Hell yeah.
to lose the game. And DJ Moore just said game. He called game. He was like, no, I'm gonna take over. Since all you guys seem to think like, hey, we're supposed to find a way to lose. He's like, I think you have it backwards, guys. We're supposed to find a way to win. They're like, no, that doesn't sound right. I don't think that you've played football in Chicago long enough. Like you're not supposed to win. That's weird.
Yeah, I think if Justin Fields continues to have struggles, then they should just put DJ Moore in at quarterback and just let him eat.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be the only one who cares about winning.
That guy's good. He's always been on
He's
crappy teams. He was like my little league career, just incarnate.
I don't think
NFL.
you ever played on a good team. Yeah, that's DJ Moore.
That's like, DJ Moore. He went from the Panthers over to the Bears, and that's disgusting.
He's like the Booby Miles, except for if Booby Miles wasn't on a good team.
If
give
he
him the
went
ball,
to a team,
let him throw the pass, let him catch the pass, let him run the ball, let him return the punt, let him kick the field goal, let him do everything.
If DJ Moore found himself on like a below average team, like I don't know, like the Colts maybe, or like the Jags, a lot of those teams in that division kind of thing.
He would be a better below average team.
Yeah, like just below average, not terrible, just below average. He'd be like, "This is incredible. You guys are amazing. This is the best football team I've ever been on."
Yeah, there's somebody else here who can catch the ball besides me. That's wild.
He is exclusively on dumpster fire teams, and that's just the way his career has gone. Yeah. And we'll see what happens to these Bears, though.
Didn't he have overlap with CMC in Carolina?
Bro, that didn't make him a good team.
I know. Somehow you've got the best running back in the league, and you got DJ Moore. And it's like, well, there has to be a person with a heartbeat who can hold on to the football taking snaps. And we didn't have that. They didn't have that. Like you got to have somebody who can take a snap and hand the ball off or throw a short pass. I mean, that's an essential part of the game. The football's got to get from the quarterback to Christian McCaffrey or DJ Moore. And so Justin Fields is able to get the ball to him at least. And I liked Justin Fields last night. Like he actually he ran a little, he didn't run too much. He stayed in the pocket and passed plenty. It's not like they're crazy reads. I think maybe they simplified the schemes for him a little bit or something like that. Cause his reads haven't been looking very good, but like, I mean, he made good throws to open receivers, I guess. Like that seems like a weird bar to say it's a good quarterback. Like he hit open guys. Like, you're an NFL quarterback. It seems like what you should be able to do, but he hasn't really shown he could do that yet.
He showed it last year, but not this year. You're absolutely right. And it just looked night and day out there. It seems like a flip switched, basically.
A flip switched.
One might say.
Yeah.
We're past 10 minutes now, so sorry that I fucked that up, but that's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah, no, Justin Fields is a talented guy. He's extremely athletic. And I think he does have what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. Just what a horrible spot, like a horrible team to be on to try and prove that to the entire league.
I know.
You deserve to be one of the top 32 guys. That's not fair for anyone. Well, prove it on the Bears. Like if you can prove it on the Bears, odds are you're really like in the top half of the quarterbacks in the league, probably.
Yeah. If you make the Bears good, that's impressive.
It's like also Sam Darnold's whole career. You're like the Jets, the Panthers. All right, you can't make those teams win. You must suck then.
You must not be good. Yeah.
No, man. Like, okay.
You got to be real good to make those teams good. What do you think the ceiling is for Justin Fields? Like what's best case scenario? Like give me a comp for a best case scenario version of Justin Fields.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that crazy that there was MVP talks before the season. He has all the makeup, and I'm not just like flipping.
Dude wears makeup.
I already said, dude wears eyeliner, mostly guy liner.
Him and Derek Carr, huh?
Right. Yeah. When I said I had the highest exposure to DJ Moore, that also happened to be the QB receiver combo that I chose to target for stacking. So I have almost as much. Justin Fields is also in my top 5 highest exposure players in fantasy. So yeah, so far this season been a little rough, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, I had the like Fields Purdy combo just about everywhere because they're super available. But the reason why I did that is because I do believe in Fields. Fields can run as fast as anybody.
He's fast.
He can throw pretty well.
He knows how to throw a football.
He does. And
seems like he's done it before.
Yeah, and I think with a guy like DJ Moore, we saw like what they're capable of, and they just need to develop that chemistry. And for fantasy football, for actual football, I think we learned something last night, and that's, great teams spread the ball around, but the Bears need to become a good team first, and good teams find the guy and they throw it to him. You know what I mean?
That guy, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like back when the Lions were like trying to be good, you had Matthew Stafford just hyper targeting Megatron. And I think DJ Moore, he's no Megatron, but he is Justin Fields Megatron right now. That's the situation we're in.
Or like even when the Ravens were just trying to be good, it was like, hey, just take the ball, run with it. Like make one read, run with the ball. Like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like they need to just be like, let's just try and get the ball in the hands of either Justin Fields on a run or DJ Moore on a pass, and like that's our offense. It's like one read thing. No, I mean, look, it worked. Whatever they did, it worked last night. So big DJ Moore nights seem to translate to teams.
By the way, his stat line, just so people know, they believe us, how big it was: 8 catches, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Tell me about the Commanders. What do you think? I mean, because like what's going on there? They've been good, and then we were like, what are they? This is what they've always been there. They're like, they'll beat this team that they're not supposed to beat, and then they'll like lose to a team they're not supposed to lose to. You don't know what they're gonna do.
I'm usually on the same page when it comes to like bad teams being bad. Bad football teams going to be bad football teams. That's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. But I don't necessarily think that is actually what the Commanders are this season. They're under new ownership, right? So like the last thing you can say is that they're the same old Commanders, right? At least from like an ownership point of view and a decision making point of view,
right? So we still have that same head coach, right? And same.
Same head coaches just recently. Like, you know what I mean? They've gone through they have to keep changing the mask every 2 or 3 years. It's still a pretty new look head coach. He was only hired like a couple of years ago. New ownership, new quarterback this year, a lot of new players. Like they're kind of rebranding. I think this is about as good as you could have expected as a Commanders fan this year. I think Sam Howell could be a guy. I think he's probably in the top 32 quarterbacks in the league right now. He's got guts, and I like that. You can see he can mount a little bit of a comeback, a little too much to overcome on Thursday, but Sam Howell's a decent guy. And I mean, nothing's more fun than like when he makes a play, you just kind of
howl with him. You know what? He slings the ball around. He's pretty fearless, which is nice. That's fun. Like that's like he's going to throw some interceptions, but he doesn't care. He's
crazy.
Like, I'm here to play football. Like, what do we do? I'm not gonna just freeze up like Zach Wilson out here. Like, I'm gonna do some stuff.
Have you watched him throw the ball though? Have you seen that like that trail foot kind of like? I don't know what that is. This terrible.
It's like he doesn't step with his opposite foot fully.
Like the trail foot like comes through. And he throws like a guy who like I don't know. It just looks.
He kind of shoots like he kind of throws like you like jump shoot a basketball. Like he
like how a stereotypical like girl might take a jump shot. How they kind of like jump onto like one foot and like kind of like he kind of does that with the football a little bit.
No, he slings it around though, and he is fearless.
Still like him.
Some talk about Ron Rivera not being there next season or even this season, and Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, just taking over.
No,
you like that or no?
Hard pass.
Bieniemy
is okay. So, are you familiar with Bieniemy's coaching career? Long time OC for a phenomenal team. Would you like to take a guess where he came from? Great team. Think top offenses in the league.
New England?
No, New England. No, much better.
Much
premier offense.
Oh, you're talking about more recent than that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, because I'm like New England was pretty good
last year.
New England was pretty good for a long time, man.
He's the first year OC for Washington. So the last job he had.
Yeah. Was it San Francisco? Not San Francisco.
Nope. Wrong conference, but you're on the right track.
I'm on the right track. Oh, wrong conference?
Yep.
So he was in the AFC West?
Yes, he was, actually. I didn't say West, but he is. He was, yeah.
Oh, Kansas City?
Yeah. He was the OC for the Chiefs long time OC. I don't know how many years exactly, but he never got it. They're so good. You'd think like, how did he not get a head coaching job offered to him? But this is how it works in the NFL. If you are the OC for an offensive minded head coach, they don't tend to give you the credit for how good your offense is. They say like, well, yeah, but the head coach runs the offense. You know what I mean? So
Right.
people just gave so much credit to Andy Reid for so many years. They go, you got to go somewhere else, Bieniemy, if you want to prove that you are like head coach material. Because how would we even know that? He decides of all the places he could go, he
Hang
goes
his
to
hat.
Washington. Crazy move. I mean, if he pulls it off, I agree. He's a genius.
Yeah,
He has
like,
yet to
right.
pull it off for sure. I think that he's getting in the way of the playmakers on that team. They have talent. And I mean, Sam Howell, like I said, I think he's a good quarterback. Once it looked like Sam Howell was just kind of playing backyard football, trying to get in the game, he looks so much better. I don't think Bieniemy is the guy. I would not think that going from Rivera to Bieniemy would be an upgrade by any means. But I also don't care if Ron Rivera's there at all. If I'm a Commanders fan, like I don't think he's the one leading you to the promised land.
That's
either.
kind of what I'm hearing from the fans, is that it's like,
Yeah.
hey, got the ownership out. Let's get the ownership's head coach out. Let's just run a hard refresh on this. Magic Johnson had some words. He did not like what he saw as a new co-owner of the team. So his tweet or his post on X. I can't do it, man. I can't call it X. It's too weird. It's like one syllable. It's just like a letter.
Can we call it like Twixer or
Yeah.
something?
Tweet his
Like baby
tweaks.
steps.
His tweaks said tonight the Commanders played. Tonight the Commanders played. They did play. Tonight the Commanders played with no intensity.
Period. And that is it.
Yeah.
Tonight the Commanders played.
That's the whole tweet. Tonight the Commanders played with no
Barely.
intensity or fire. We didn't compete in the first half and got down 27-3 heading into halftime. It was too big of a hole to climb out of, and that is why we ended up losing 40-20.
Hold
Do you
on,
feel
hold on. Can I
to
ask
me,
you a
it
question?
feels
here?
like it's like, did you think you were breaking this news? Like everybody saw it.
Even before we get to that, I gotta ask this question.
Yeah.
We? Like what?
Yeah,
Choice?
he's an owner. He's an owner. I get it. That
Is
was like,
is he one of the owners?
Yeah,
I didn't
he's one of the
realize he was
owners.
one of them.
Yeah, he's one of the owners.
Oh, okay. I like this. I like this storyline more now. Okay,
Yeah,
Magic.
Magic owns like a few, or owns part of
Franchises?
a few franchises. Yeah. Yep.
Of the NFL or of
No, I think this is the first NFL foray. So like he owns like part of a lot of different leagues, basically.
Do you think there's much crossover?
Magic's a pretty savvy business dude.
That's what I was going to ask next. Do you think there's I mean, sure, savvy business dude, not going to hurt you being an NFL owner, but like such a defined skill set, kind of what you need as an NFL owner. And there's only 30. Well, I mean, okay, there are part owners, but there's only 32 teams to own in the NFL. So being an NFL owner is like a particular type of thing. Do you think there really is same with other sports? I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Do you think there is much crossover from being an owner from one sport to the next? And is that
I don't think he's like an active owner. Like I think he's a minority owner, but it's like he gives the team a face a little bit, you know. And I think that he's pretty big on like a lot of his franchises are good because he'll pay for them to be good. He won't like, he's not like, yeah, let me just make the money and not pay the tax or whatever it is. Like he'll pay up for his franchises to be good. So I think that's why fans were excited about it in the offseason when the old owner, I can't remember his name, but the old owner like was out and Magic Johnson became one of the new owners. They're like, Magic typically pays up, you know, and makes the franchise good. But I don't think he's like an active decision-making owner.
Well, I do think that most the time that I've seen players like get into ownership, they tend to have that mindset of like, let's pay up and get good players. Like, I mean, that just only makes sense as a player, you'd be a player's
owner. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Player owner. No, yeah, I think it's interesting. Magic's chiming in. Some of the comments on his post were like, hey, I mean, they just played a short week, you know, after an intense overtime game against the Eagles. You know, but I don't know, man. The Bears played a short week too, and they had an intense game on Sunday as well. It's not like they got ran. So
the Bears have had the most intense season thus far. I mean, the intensity and the just like imagine I think we've all had jobs where we start to feel kind of like, ooh, maybe my job security is not like really high right now. Like you kind of start feeling like maybe this department might crumble. I don't know.
Like I can't imagine like we're always failing. Like, we're never hitting our goals. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah,
exactly. And when it's a football team, an NFL football team, everything's out in the open. Everything is public, and there are clear like 2 or 3 people the face of the franchise quarterback, the head coach, the owner, those three people, they're plastered everywhere when you're doing great and when you're doing bad. And when you're doing bad, I can't imagine you wake up thinking like, I can't wait to get to work. I just can't imagine that.
No, I mean, everyone in the Bears organization has to be like, man, this sucks. Like this is so bad. They were on a 14-game losing streak.
Longest active streak in the NFL. Yeah.
14 games?
They snapped it though. Cracked it.
That, I mean, so that in and of itself, I mean, let me tell you a story, because my Little League career is clearly just as high stakes as NFL football. I was on a very good Little League team one year. I was the opposite of you.
Nice.
I was on some good teams. I was on a very good Little League team one year, and we lost to a team, the second worst team in the league. So there was the worst team in the league that lost every single game.
That sounds like one of my teams.
Yeah, and then there was the second worst team that lost every single game except for their games with that worst team. So they were like 3 and whatever number of losses. And they beat us. They beat us in a game, and we only had like one, or like we were splitting with the other best team in the league. We had maybe like one loss. That was like our second loss. And they beat us. And it was like the party they had in right field after the game. Like they had catering coming in. I was like, did you guys call that like pizza in? Like they had like a pizza party out there. There was soda. There was champagne flying around. They're like, I don't care if they're 12.
They got orange slices.
Yeah, they're 12-year-olds drinking champagne. Their parents like, I don't even care. And it's
topless girls in the stands.
Yeah,
the other car crashes in the parking lot.
Strippers, all of it.
Yeah,
all of it right there on the Little League field at a middle school. And our coach, we were in left field after the game meeting, and our coach was like, take that in. Like that's like, wait till you guys get to school on Monday. That's what he said. He's like, wait till you guys get to school on Monday, because they're like, everybody will know about it by then, or they'll talk about it. Like I mean. That's the Commanders right now. Like he kind of just made us sit there and watch it, right? Like, we won a game. We're like, son of a bitch. Like that's the Commanders right now. Can't feel good,
That's all right. I mean, listen, neither of these teams are like relevant. Let's just be honest. I mean, the Bears,
you had the Commanders in the playoffs, right?
Maybe close. I don't know if I actually put them in the playoffs or not. I don't think I did. We could check it, but
you were a little more in on them though than I was, at least.
For sure. I was probably also a little more in on the Bears than you too. I was a little more in on a lot of the teams at the bottom of the league. But that's okay.
You were like tentatively in on the Broncos. You're like, I think Sean Payton
just to shoot myself a little bit of bail. I think we've established that the reason for a lot of that is I have a hard time breaking the like season-long view of teams. And I do think that both of these teams are teams that will get better throughout the year unless they kind of purposely start losing in order to preserve a great draft pick. But like Justin Fields, Sam Howell, they're two of the better prospects at starting quarterback that could actually like evolve a little bit. Patrick Mahomes. Hey guys, I got news for you. Patrick Mahomes is good. And he's also not going to take any major leaps forward in development because he's already the best in the league.
He's pretty developed already.
Same with Josh Allen, same with a lot of these guys. But there are some quarterbacks who aren't great yet, who will become great. I'm not saying it is Sam Howell and Justin Fields for sure, but there are quarterbacks who haven't proven themselves who will do it this season. So if it's going to be anybody, it might as well be Fields and Howell. That's how I look at it.
And you also think it will be Stroud as well, right?
To be fully fair, I wasn't even as in on Stroud as I was in on like Fields and Howell. I really think there is a little bit of like a rookie wall, and being sophomores in the league is huge. Howell and Fields, both sophomores.
So you're in terms of player development and jumps, you're most in on Howell and Fields, even more so than like Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Jordan Love, all of the other kind of developmental quarterbacks. Bryce Young would be another one.
Yeah. I mean, I was at the beginning of the year. Yes. I'm not like taking that back, but like, I'm not ignoring what we've seen either.
Okay. Yeah. So what we've seen, but let's check in on that. That's where you were at the beginning of the year.
CJ Stroud is looking the best. Also, being given the best opportunity, I think it's actually really valuable that he is jumping in with like a first-time head coach because he's figuring it out, and the head coach is just like, this is going to be my guy. I'm going to toss all the faith in the world in him. And CJ Stroud is the reason they're either winning or losing games. And I know that sounds harsh, like you can't put the losses on him, but he's not one of the best quarterbacks in the league yet. He is the reason they're losing, but when they win,
but he also gets to be the reason they're winning. Yeah,
exactly. It really is like that. When Bryce Young and his team are losing all the time, I'm like, there's a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's not just him. Like
a lot of problems.
Who does he even have to throw to? Adam Thielen? That's his number one receiver.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
not a great number one receiver.
It's pretty old number one receiver. Yeah,
you're not getting much yak yards out of Adam Thielen.
Yeah, John. I know we got some other stuff we're getting to. I want to
let's talk about trades.
Yeah, a few things in football. I wasn't sure if you were you knew I was going to bring this up, but yeah, I forgot almost to add this, and we got to talk about a couple of key trades that happened. I think both today, if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the day. So let's start.
So if
with
you're
Chase
listening
Claypool.
on audio, it would be yesterday Friday or something like that. But Chase Claypool,
yeah, good point.
Traded
Friday, October 6th. A couple of big transactions. There might be even more than this. But Chase Claypool to the Dolphins. So Chase Claypool, quick little history on him. Nice. Do one more without me obstructing it.
Just like Chase Claypool.
Oh, that was a nice little squeak at the end on that one. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was adolescent Dolphin. You know, it's going through changes.
That's nice. I like it. All right. So Chase Claypool, originally drafted by the Steelers. Steelers have this like phenomenal draft history of receivers, you know, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. They make them look good. And then it kind of seems like actually maybe they don't like Juju Smith-Schuster exactly is the guy who doesn't seem to cut it somewhere else. Deontay's still there, still doing it up. Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't fit that same pattern. Yeah, but like
right. He's still there.
Good Steelers receiver.
Right. And Chase Claypool just got moved last season to the Bears, and I believe it was for the 32nd. It was like for a first round pick.
Okay,
which is crazy. A pick in the 30s. It might have been an early second. I can't remember, but a pick in the 30s, which is compared to basketball. I know you're a basketball guy.
Yeah. Give me like
the 30s in basketball.
Is that like a top 10 pick?
Well, a pick in the 30s in basketball is hot garbage, basically, right?
Right. No, so give me a comp to basketball. Is that like a top 10 pick, a top 5
Oh,
pick?
yeah. Well, anybody drafted in the first round, that's major. Yeah, I would say first round is probably more similar to like the top 10 picks in basketball.
Okay.
Probably like that. Like,
all right,
if you're drafting a guy in the first round, he should be in your plans, like a starter, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of starters in football. You know, I don't know if you knew that. 22, really more.
Most guys who get drafted in the top 10, they're part of the plan. If they go to a good team, maybe they're not a starter, but they're definitely part of the plan. It's definitely part of the plan to like give them significant minutes and develop them. Yeah.
So when you swap that pick for a receiver, and I think that trade was pretty much straight up. I'm not going to look up what the trade was. This was a year ago anyway. He went to the Bears, and a lot of people were like, great, Justin Fields needs a receiver. This was before the DJ Moore trade, by the way. They were like, Chase Claypool, new number one receiver on the Bears.
Right.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the main guy they had at that time, Darnell Mooney, they're like, he'll be the number 2, or maybe vice versa. Maybe we've got it wrong. They're both pretty good, right? Neither are that good at all. It's not really that crazy. They aren't number one receivers. They go out and get DJ Moore. Obviously a great move now that we've seen what we've seen.
Yeah.
Chase Claypool relegated to number 3 on the depth chart and really beyond. Darnell Mooney outplayed him. I think they've got some other guys outplaying him. They get some other positions involved in that team as well. So the Dolphins go, we don't need this guy anymore. We kind of messed up. Let's trade him away. They basically gave him up for, I can't stand it when people say this. I want to publicly like have a stance on this. When people say they traded him away for a bag of chips, when I see that, John, I get fired up, man. When there's like, hey, no creativity,
don't do bags of chips dirty like that. All right.
Well, that too.
Bags
but
of chips
also
are delicious and valuable.
Can we talk about jokes that have been recycled about 300 times over? Like if you're trying to joke and trying to get people to laugh, especially on the internet in like a text format where you're making comments on stuff and you're making the same joke that everybody's made 300 times before.
Yeah.
What are we doing? We need a new thing. Use anything else.
So many things that are equally valuable as a bag of chips, right? Like
when I click on a
$1.98, go look up stuff that's $2 and be like, it's that, you know,
or less. A pack of gum. I haven't even heard that one. That would be way funnier.
It's better.
Yeah. Anyway, basically, for any of those dollar store items, Chase Claypool
traded him away for a contract.
Traded. Yes, to the Dolphins. Now,
to the Fins.
Chase Claypool, I would say, knowing he's getting traded today, October 6th, on the back of a trade just a year ago for so much.
Just to be clear, the Dolphins receive Chase Claypool. Bears receive Dolphins branded pack of condoms, or what do we got?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dolphins, like replacement, like
They sent him a
net
hat from
for,
the
like, a
gift
pool
shop.
skimmer or something. Yeah.
Okay, got you. All right.
But if you told me that today Chase Claypool is getting traded again this quick after like a big trade for him, I would say like dude's career is basically over. Like there's
Yeah.
no chance, and it still probably is. If I had to hand pick a team where he might be able to be relevant in some kind of gadgety role, because I think that's where he is at this point in his career,
Go gadget Chase Claypool.
why not send him to the team that just gets all the offensive yards? Like, I mean, they're going to figure out something to do with him.
I don't hate
When
it.
the Bears trade for him, I go, they might not have a plan. I hope they did. They did not. When the Dolphins trade for him, Mike McDaniel, I tend to think like he's got a plan. He's going to figure it out. And it's going to make everybody look stupid because he's going to have done it for pennies on the dollar. Got him for something stupid like a 6-7 like round swap. It's pretty crazy, honestly.
Yeah, Chris Vant disagrees. He says Claypool won't work with the Dolphins either. He will keep getting bounced around the league every year. Basically, Chris is thinking Claypool's a journeyman at this point. He's all but a journeyman. You think maybe he could work with just all of the oodles of offense?
Well, the thing about journeyman, John, is usually when you use the word journeyman, you're talking about a guy who has a lot of experience, been around for a long time. Chase Claypool's been around for a minute now. But I mean, he doesn't get all that many snaps nor that many targets. Like
it's like he's just so when I say journeyman, and maybe we just use it a little bit differently in basketball. I mean, it's like it's the kind of guy who's kind of good enough to play on a lot of teams, and like he's not zero value. He's valuable enough, and he's good enough to play on a lot of teams, but he's never going to be the guy. And typically he's pretty good at blending. You know, it's like, yeah, he can come be your 6th, 7th man. You know, and he'll be a pretty good addition for that.
You could call him that. He's definitely not the 6th or 7th man or even the equivalent of that for a football team yet. But I would say I would put him more in the category of like developmental player. There's like stuck forever in developmental player because he still has a lot of the weird tools that could make him, not even tools, attributes that could make him like phenomenal in the league. He's just incredible size and weight and I think strength, but it doesn't look like it's like available on the football field for him. You know, it doesn't feel like it's like practically applicable.
He doesn't have functional strength or speed.
Right.
Size.
And
he has no functional size.
The one
thing he's a shower, not a grower.
Yeah. And he's not like a traditional receiver. He has like no skills really that like a typical good receiver would have, it seems like. But every team he's been on has kind of figured out really quick, like you got to use him in some kind of gadgety role. And again, if I could handpick one team that uses players in a gadget role more often than any, I mean, how about the team that's using Tyreek Hill every single possible way, gadget or not? Devon Achane. Yeah, that's why he's ripping off these huge plays. He's being schemed open in a gadgety way. Guys, Chase Claypool, he is big. He is fast. He is strong. He's just looked bad because they've been using him like a traditional receiver in the NFL. Yeah. I don't think his career is over. I think Mike McDaniel might have just gotten himself somebody who's valuable.
He could be Mike McDaniel's Debo, but not quite as good as Debo, right? Like it's McDaniel's
Debo is Tyreek Hill. Well, Mike McDaniel's Christian McCaffrey's Tyreek Hill, I guess.
Right? Yeah. It's just a different position, but that's what I'm saying.
Then,
like,
maybe.
Yeah, like he's like that gadget player. That's like, I mean, we'll hand the ball to him. We'll pitch it. We'll throw screens to him. We'll throw passes.
What they're doing in Miami isn't all that different than San Francisco. That's why the comp works here. Is basically
I was
San
going to say
they line
Kyle
up.
Shanahan also seems like a guy who could use him, but just doesn't need him at the moment. You know,
cast is full over there. Yeah, right. The movie is casted out, but what I was saying is like the death of like traditional positions is kind of happening with certain schemes. Positionless football is a thing that's coming up, and it's coming up in that scheme, the Shanahan McDaniel scheme. So gadget players work really well there because you don't have the same roles as usual, and speed and strength where it traditionally couldn't be applied to a position. They'll figure out a way to do it. So I again, I'm not saying he's the new hot thing. They traded nothing to get him, so they're not that highly invested in him. But I'm just saying, on the off chance that he could resurrect his career, there's not a better spot in the league, and I dare somebody to disagree with me over that. Another big trade here, John. Let's move on to the last one I wanted to bring up. Big one for me, the Niners. Most
making
people
a trade.
One of the top defenses in the league on the back of potentially the best defensive line in the league. You know, we already have superstars like Bosa. We got Eric Armstead. We got Javon Hargrave. We got great guys who were young, like Drake Jackson. They went out, got Randy Gregory, who I don't know if you know a ton about,
No.
but he's a journeyman in the NFL.
Okay.
He's had some troubles off the field. I
Ooh.
don't know all
What kind of troubles? What are we talking about here?
troubles is the right word because it's
I
not
love
just like
I love a
singular
good shit show. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what do we got going on here? What are you doing?
So
Got a
the
little
Niners,
domestic stuff. We got some gang stuff. What do we got going on?
we'd have to pull that up and look at it a little bit more
Okay.
because I'm not totally sure. I think maybe some domestic stuff. I don't know. I don't want to
Well,
put
you know,
words
that's not great.
in the
But
mouth or anything. I might be wrong though.
I'll
But
Google it. I
definitely,
Googled baseball earlier, so I'm pretty good at the Google.
yeah. Randy Gregory. That's 2 Y's in that name, 3 R's. For those counting. No other letters repeat in his name.
I mean, okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Just
He used to play for the Cowboys. I think playing for the Cowboys comes with off-field trouble, doesn't it?
well,
They're like, oh, welcome to the Cowboys. Here's a domestic violence charge. Here's a gun charge.
I don't know. Maybe you can answer this for me. This is like our like Funky Friday show. I don't know. What do we call it? Like Weird Shit Friday?
Yeah, I like Funky Friday. That's fun.
Funky Friday, baby.
That's funky. Yeah.
I did. Okay, sure. That's
You
what
just did
Funky
that.
Friday, baby.
I'm in on Funky Friday.
All right. Maybe you can tell me in basketball. You like that? Okay.
Motorboating Friday.
Funky Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell me in basketball, but there are some teams that like build their team off like character guys who might not have the best like physical attributes, and there's other teams that go, we care all about the physical attributes and give us all the DV guys and the like, oh yeah, he's had some trouble like off the court. I know that there's teams that do that.
Yeah.
The 49ers, since they've taken over this regime of the 49ers, they have taken all the clean, like, I mean, they have Harvard graduates on the squad. I mean, they have the like intellectual, clean, character guys.
Like, we don't want
locker room
off-field
guys.
drama.
Exactly. And they
right.
cut a lot of good players who were, Colin Kaepernick maybe is the best example. Like, if you're going to be a distraction, we kind of don't care how good you are.
Right.
A lot of controversy around that. We won't get into that. Randy Gregory is that guy, though. He's
I got it pulled up. He violated the NFL's substance abuse policy.
Substance abuse, yeah.
Which I wonder if I haven't read enough yet, but this article is 7 years old. It might have been weed.
Offender. I think he's a repeat offender.
Well, this article is 7 years old, or no, it's not. It's 2019, so that's 4 years old. And maybe it was weed, and maybe weed's okay now. I don't know.
We didn't specify what year we're recording this in, John.
Yeah, well, you said Friday, October 6th.
Earlier. I didn't say what year.
That could be any year. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
So Randy Gregory, I don't want to call him a low character guy, but a guy who's had some troubles, right?
Okay.
A guy that you would think the Niners are kind of not in on, but they're kind of past that point of like building a foundation. They're in this like, this is why this move matters to me. They're in this like win now, let's go get a ring mode. And for them to make a move for this guy who is undeniably talented, as an edge rusher, a premier position in the NFL, they got him for, again, pennies on the dollar. They have an option for like 3 more years because of the off-field stuff, and it's pretty cheap. No guaranteed money, so they can cut bait whenever they want. The Broncos, where he actually came from in this trade, because he went from the Cowboys to the Broncos, and now from the Broncos to the 49ers. The Broncos are paying $10 million of his salary still this year. So the Niners pay vet minimum to him, which don't ask me how much that is, but it's the minimum. It's not a lot. And they can cut him after the season without paying any penalty. And they only swapped, I think, their 6th round pick for the Broncos' 7th round pick, I think. And they got Gregory. I might be mistaken. A lot of times these details kind of come out a little bit later, but that's what I've seen. So this is a clear indication the Niners are all in. If you didn't know, they're 4-0. Of course, they're going for a Super Bowl. So
is he a 7+ year vet at this point, or is he a 4 to 6 year guy?
I would guess he is
7+ year vet minimum, $1.65 million. So
super cheap,
nice and cheap. What did they trade? What did they give up for him?
Yeah, like I think it was just a pick swap from their 6th down to the Broncos' 7th, I think, along with Gregory. So yeah, like nothing basically.
I mean, I like it.
When you
I
can
like
draft
them.
Brock
It's
Purdy as the
little
last pick of the
tweaking.
draft,
Yeah.
who cares if you're picking in the 6th or the 7th?
Yeah, we should rely on that strategy, being able to draft our starting QB with the last pick in the draft. That should just
It
be our
works for the
go-to.
Rams. It's working for the Niners. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
teams are kind of on that, like, who cares about these top picks? We can get guys we want later and
Yeah.
get a lot of stuff for it now.
Daniel B. Boudini just showing up. What's up, Dan? What's up, y'all? He says,
What up, D-Dog?
What's up, Funky Friday? Daniel's joining us for Funky Friday. Just a reminder, guys, every 10 likes on the video. Just a reminder, guys, every 10 likes on the video, we give away a $25 gift card. We're currently at 12, so we owe you one. We'll do that at the end of the show. But if we hit 20 at any point, then we'll just go ahead and give one away. Yeah, I like the moves by the Niners, just kind of tweaking and optimizing. You know what I mean? They're like, what? I think they're creating redundancies here. It's like, hey, if, what happens if we lose Bosa? Well, let's get another edge rusher. Like, I think they're just kind of, where can we make redundancies? Because our biggest problem has been health, right? So how can we guard against that? Where if we have some guys get hurt, we're still very capable of winning.
We don't even talk about that, John. We don't talk about that being a possibility at all. That's like,
to me, that's what they're doing here, right? Like, they're kind of saying, like, we want to be bulletproof, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, make no mistake that they'll probably have plenty of packages where they're both on the field at the same time. But you're right. They want to be able to replace production because they do have significant injury history. Right now, knocking on wood, they've avoided it this year pretty well. Maybe things are starting to click in a way that they haven't in the past. Feels like the personnel finally fits the scheme in a way that we haven't seen before on the Niners.
I like it. So, week 5, give me like a week 5 outlook. What are you feeling like? Just maybe by division, like not full division. Division conference. AFC, give me who are you thinking? Like, give me your top 3-4 contenders from the AFC, and maybe one dark horse for you. What's Casey's dark horse in the AFC?
If I had to pick a dark horse, I mean, I'm not going to think about it too much. I'll just pick a fun one because I think there's a lot of them that it could be. But I'm not going to look past the Texans anymore, man. I've been waiting to be ahead of the game on the Texans, and I think anybody who's listened quite a bit, they can tell I've been putting breadcrumbs out. Like, hey, guys, I'm all over the Texans. I'm just not like both feet in yet. That was at the beginning of the year, even week 1, week 2. After they look good with CJ Stroud, I still like to take credit for, like, hey, I was still here before most people. Yeah. I will say I'm both feet in now. Not as far as like actually being a dark horse to come out of that conference and go to the Super Bowl. But as far as the team that might be the most surprisingly successful at the end of the year out of the AFC, I think the Texans are highly likely to be that.
All right, you like the Texans?
Yeah.
Give me a dark horse in the NFC. So pretend you're not a Niners fan. Give me a dark horse.
Man,
I'll give you my AFC, and I think I can count them as dark. I think I can count them as a dark horse at this point. The Bengals. I think at this point we can say they're a dark horse to come out of the AFC.
They're like
it's the easy dark horse to pick. I know, but that's what I'm doing here. All right.
I did get Joe Burrow in a league. Somebody made a transaction, was able to scoop up Joe Burrow.
Bought him low, huh?
Might have been in the TCP league even. I don't know. A lot of crazy transactions going on in that league. I know I picked up Saquon Barkley in that league after somebody had dropped him. Thank you for that. He's not healthy yet, but anyway, I'll go to the NFC now. The dark horse team I'll throw out. Maybe you wouldn't call them a dark horse now, but they're in a division that could go any which way. Yeah. They are leaders of the division right now, but I think they've already proven dark horse status a little bit, which might make them like a medium horse.
They're like a dark gray horse.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be a neutral shade. They could be like a nice, like, rustic orange or something, like
I like what you said about the Bengals, a spotted horse.
Yeah, well, that's what they are, because you look at one place and you're like bright spot. You look another place, you're like black hole.
Yeah.
So they're like a black
just
and white,
like a tiger has
dairy
stripes.
Cow.
Just like a Bengal tiger has stripes. As a horse, the Bengals have stripes. I don't know, man. It's getting too deep. Tell me your NFC dark horse.
Yeah, I'll go with the Bucks, man. Another player I have acquired in fantasy lately is Baker Mayfield. I think a lot of people are like, man, I squeezed some value out of Mayfield so far. Yeah, it's probably not going to last. So let me get something for him.
So what did I hear? The OC from Seattle last year, when Geno Smith was comeback player of the year, and Geno Smith sort of revived his career in Seattle. That is the current OC with the Bucks, and it seems like we're seeing the same thing from Baker Mayfield. So this is like, I don't know if this is like a pattern with this OC. He's just able to like see what they're capable of and bring it out of them. But if it is, I love that. I love that. I love this chapter for Baker.
Yeah, I'm not even totally sure. Is that accurate? Is that real?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
he's not the he's not the former OC of Seattle.
Okay.
He was a former assistant, like an offensive assistant. So this is his first OC job, it seems like, if I'm not mistaken.
But I mean, I think just jumping from that same situation, and that seems like what's happening here. Another person who seems to be in revival mode,
man. I don't know. Give Baker some credit, damn it. You know what I mean? Like, we're so
I know it's
easy.
true. It's true because he got the Browns to the playoffs, and they're like, no, like give us Deshaun Watson on it
later, homie,
on an awful contract.
And goes to Carolina,
and they're like, no, give us Bryce Young I mean,
no, goes to Carolina immediately afterwards after going to the playoffs for the Browns, and they say not good enough. Guys who are decent at football have looked bad on the Panthers. Like I already said, Sam Darnold. I mean, I'm not making it up. I said that earlier. Bryce Young. If you believe he's not good at football, I mean, I'm gonna not be controversial. You're an idiot. Let's say.
I hear what you're saying,
use a
but
harsher word. Baker Mayfield looking bad on the Panthers shouldn't matter much. He gets traded. Remember, he got traded to the Rams, and over the course of a flight, he learned the playbook, and he showed out for the Rams in the first game for them. He played pretty good for them. Now he goes to the Buccaneers, and people are like, it's a fluke. He's playing good. I'm like, he's played good almost everywhere he's ever played. What are we talking about?
I hear what you're saying, but the storyline is that it's a revival for sure. Like it's kind of interesting. It shouldn't
public figure-wise, yes, but not necessarily from play. Look at his stats. They're not that bad.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, I mean, could you say the same about Geno? Did he really play really awful anywhere, or did he just not play well enough
for Geno? Similar situation for Geno, but the bigger difference is Geno was also just on the couch for 5 years? 6 years. I mean, maybe he was floating around doing.
He was hurt. He was a backup. He was not.
He
really
played no significant football for so long. That makes it even harder to believe he's going to bounce back after something like that. Baker never did. Baker never took time off of being a starter. He's just had to bob and weave his way around NFL franchises to do it. But it feels like every step of the way, it's kind of like arguable whether or not they should be cutting bait with him.
Yeah.
Even the Rams, I thought they were going to keep him on the Rams. Why would you get rid of him? Matt Stafford in a back brace at the time, and they're like, we don't need this guy who just shows up on a day notice and plays.
Hey, if the Browns don't want him, we don't want him, okay?
There's some obvious chemistry here, but you know what? We hate chemistry. It was our least favorite subject in high school.
Yeah. We want Matt Stafford targeting Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp 55 times a game. That's what we want. All right, so you got Bucks. You got, who did you say in the FC? Texans. My dark horse NFC team. It is probably the Bucks. It's I mean the Vikings. Vikings are a good dark horse too. But we're not the experts here. We got the foremost sports expert in the world, the most well-read man on the first page of any book, weighing in on who he thinks the best team in football is.
I can't wait.
Mr. LeBron James.
This is a different beast. The Niners are looking like the best team in football on both sides of the field. Brock Purdy is sharp. Obviously, Debo, Brandon Ayuk. You can't say any more great things about CMC. He's a George Kittle, and that's just to name a couple, man. And then defensively, when you talk about Freddie G. Warner. He's just an absolute beast, man. Greenlaw, the rest of those guys, man. Listen, I can sit here and talk all day about the Niners and how great they look, how well coached they are. And I didn't even name all the great players that they have. They just have so many great ones. And they do look like a Super Bowl title winning team so far through 3 games. And I see them keeping it going today live from Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. I got the Niners winning that game.
All right.
Okay, so wait. I love what he was saying. Is that the guy who brings the porta potties like to outside the stadiums before games and stuff? Is that?
Yeah, no, he seems like he knows a lot about football.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me just say that was like a classic LeBron take when he's like, I could talk all day about this. I'm like, no, I think you've said literally everything that you could. Like, I think you just said the names of every single Niners player that you know.
Probably he is one to do that.
There's so many guys.
Right?
There's so many guys that I could name. I'm like, I think
did
he named
even
them
say
all.
Bosa?
Sure.
Did he say Bosa?
He did not say Bosa. He said Fred Warner, but not Bosa.
Well, I mean, hey, Fred deserves his flowers, but
I get it. Yeah. No, it was a classic LeBron. I go all day on this. I'm like, I think this is the end of the
you
first
went
page
about
of
as long as you could go.
Yeah. No, his take is right. I guess it's like, it's an easy pick, but I mean, I think the take is good, but it's not a tough take. But you like finding yourself on the same side of the argument as LeBron, yeah? You're a big LeBron guy.
Oh, LeBron's his name? Is that's
yeah? LeBron, the porta potty guy.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to dislike a guy who's just talking like that about my favorite team. So I guess
seems well educated.
Yeah,
seems well educated. LeBron thinks 49ers best team in football. I mean, yeah.
He's right. I mean, he's right. He's right.
If it's not the 49ers,
I want to see. Let's go back
to the 49ers. Who is it?
It's 2019 matchup, baby. I mean, how do you exclude the Chiefs from that conversation? Mm-hmm. I think the Eagles have been. I mean, this is what I don't like about saying this stuff. Is I don't mind wearing the Niners badge of honor. Like I know people think I'm just a homer for them, but I think the Eagles have been made too big a deal of, right? Like I won't take anything away from them last year, but we know how that game went. We know why specifically that game went that way. And I'm not saying it wouldn't have anyway, but this season, forget about last season. This season, knowing what we think the Eagles are capable of, they have not played up to that level. I would still say they still are they're winning, but there's misfires kind of happening. Things don't look that smooth. You watch a team like the Chiefs or the Niners, and it just feels like there is no other way the game is going to go other than them absolutely dominating their opponent, regardless of what the final score is. Because we all know there's a lot of stuff that goes on in like the fourth quarter of a game that can change the score. But if you've watched the Niners play any game of football this year and you didn't think from whistle to whistle that they were going to win, like you're on another planet, man. They're just absolutely dominant, every single position group on the roster. And the only team that I feel that way about is the Chiefs. Even though it's not every position group, it's just the ones they are so good at. They're so much better than anybody at. Quarterback and tight end, best combo probably of all time. Quarterback and tight end. I mean, I don't think you can argue that anymore. Mahomes to Kelsey.
I like it. Hey, look,
the Taylor Swift.
The Mahomes to Kelsey to Swift. Mahomes swiftly to Kelsey. I don't know. It's like
do you think she'll write a song about about not just Kelsey, because that's common, right? But like,
I mean,
about the team, about like Pat.
Are you saying Kelsey is coming?
I think you said that.
You said Kelsey was coming. I'm just repeating what I heard. I'm just reporting the news.
I think he always does.
That's true. That's how it ends. He's coming. Yeah. So I think we get a whole, for sure we get a Kelsey song, but she's always very cryptic about the song. So yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely going to be some general football references, maybe references to Andy Reid, maybe there's going to be a cheeseburger reference in the song. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you never know what's if there's one thing in this world that I'm sure of is that I don't know what Taylor Swift is going to do.
That's accurate. That's an accurate statement. All right. Before we are about to wrap up here, short show on this funky Friday.
I like that you got in on it that time.
I did. Yeah. I mean, I knew I was going to say it, so I got to plan ahead. But before we go over to Playback and we draw our $25 gift card winner, I do want to talk a little hoops. Make sure you guys like the video if you're on YouTube. We are giving away a gift card on Playback. It'll be a $25 gift card to DAP Sports. They sell sports memorabilia, cards, things like that. I do want to talk a little hoops. Obviously, NBA hasn't started yet. We're not going to talk about anything serious, but I got two things for you. First of all, we all know about the Dame trade at this point. We all know he went to Milwaukee, but media day, we got word about a little prank that OG Anunoby pulled on Dame. So here we go.
I didn't know everything was up in the air, and I was on the phone and I just got a random text from OG like, "Welcome to Toronto."
OG Anunoby over there.
Yeah, and he was like, "Welcome to Toronto," and he always like messing around, like joking and stuff like that. We trained together in the summer a little bit. And he texted me like, "Welcome to Toronto." So I was like, "Man, let me call this dude and see." And I finally called him. He didn't answer. Then he called me back. He was laughing. I was like, "Okay." But I was like, it just caught me off guard. Like I know it didn't happen like that, you know. So.
Oh man, I mean, you just that's a tough time, OG.
What do you think his reaction was? Like he was probably like, no!
Yeah. Please,
No!
Please, no.
It's so cold there. I wanted to go to Miami.
I don't want to be a raptor. I want to be a dinosaur. Something like that, maybe.
Yeah, and what would have Toronto would have had to move like whatever assets they had for him too. So not only would he have gone to Toronto, he would have gone to like Toronto probably without Fred VanVleet or Pascal. Well, definitely without Fred VanVleet because he's with the Rockets.
He gone.
Probably without Pascal Siakam. So basically, would have been Portland but colder and in the East.
OG Anunoby would have been their best player.
Yeah,
with Dame.
Yeah, so I mean,
which by the way, I'm an OG guy. I like OG. He's a very defensive-minded player. I love those guys, and this makes me like he just shot up my rankings even more. He's like a top 10 player in the NBA, I think. At this point.
I mean, for sure, he's a top 10 prankster. That's a great prank.
He's that ever valuable power forward position in the Casey scheme, and you know, there's a void there in a lot of teams. I think they got to get bigger there.
Yeah, you know that. Like, can we get more early 2000s basketball where we all play like in the key? That would be great.
OG Anunoby still looks like that guy who just like on a college team, high school team or whatever, like he hasn't really played a lot of basketball, but they're like, he's a freak athletically. Just go out there and like wreak havoc. When a ball goes in the air, just swat it down. You know, if there's ever a loose one, go get it. Just jump up, like just stay on that. Like, and he's like, yeah, I can do all that stuff.
If OG really Anunoby was a football player, what would his position group be?
Ooh, got to be defense still.
Sure, yeah.
Probably. I mean,
he's like pretty big. He's pretty big to be a defensive back. You know,
that's what I was gonna say. Maybe like I was gonna say a safety at first, but I think he's too big, too slow. So probably like a linebacker, probably some kind of like
he seems rushing
linebacker.
He feels Fred Warnery to me. You know what I mean? Like
no,
like
Fred. I mean, hey, I like
that
OG,
kind of role. That kind of role.
Fred is a sideline to sideline middle linebacker, top of his position in the league, best linebacker in football. OG ain't that. I think you put him on the outside.
I'm not saying skill. I'm not saying level. I'm saying like that kind of role.
He also doesn't get after the quarterback much, and I think you'd be missing out if you had OG Anunoby and you don't go like, hey, you see that guy who throws the ball and stuff? Just go tackle his ass. Like,
yeah.
If you didn't do that with him, you'd be making a mistake, I think.
Or wait till he throws it, jump up in the air and try and get it out.
Swat it. Yeah. Well, also an edge rusher's job.
Yeah.
I think you keep it out of the middle of the field. You put him on a side and you say, do your thing.
If that ball goes up in the air, you better get it. Yeah.
Don't let anybody else have it. And I think that's his specialty. Yeah.
Okay, another super timely piece of news in the NBA. Last little NBA piece of news. We've got the goods. It's about a week old now, but I didn't catch it before our last show. We got the goods on the Jordan Poole, Draymond Green kerfuffle, or I mean the skirmish. When Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole in the face. It's not really a kerfuffle. It was a one-sided kerfuffle. Yeah. Draymond punched Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole did nothing, but we learned what Jordan Poole said. Like this is confirmed from multiple sources, what Jordan Poole said to get punched. So let's take a look at that.
Here we are, right? The moment of truth, because Ezra Edelman, Academy Award winning documentary filmmaker.
Stop saying that, please.
What did the source in your phone tell you that Jordan Poole told Draymond Green that got him punched in the face?
I don't know that I even feel comfortable saying that. You saw the phone. You saw the text. So why don't you tell me?
Fine. Okay, here it is. You're an expensive backpack for 30 is what was said.
Say that again?
You're an expensive backpack for 30 is what Jordan Poole told Draymond Green that got him punched in the fucking face.
So when you saw that text, what went through your mind?
I was electrified.
Why?
Because it felt like looking at the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, please.
Like, you're an expensive backpack for 30. Let's diagram the sentence. 30 is who in this case?
Steph Curry.
Yes, that's right. Number 30, number one in your heart, Steph Curry, is the 30 in question. You're an expensive backpack for 30. Expensive. Like, this is not like, oh, this is like Louis Vuitton. This is Draymond Green making $25.8 million a year expensive.
And contextually, knowing that there's a lot of money issues surrounding the Warriors and that Draymond Green was going to be up for a contract extension after last season.
Yes.
And Jordan Poole was also going to be up for a contract extension.
Yes.
The idea of money was swirling in the air.
It was the thing that Draymond Green, I am told, was actively worried about, insecure about, anxious about. Draymond had told people, I am told, that he believed last season would be his final season in Golden State. This was going to be his last dance. And here was Jordan Poole, the guy about to take his money in the zero-sum game of Joe Lacob, owner of the Warriors' pockets. The thing that he had earned as the best defensive player and anchor, a future Hall of Famer on this team. So expensive. Backpack.
Well, I guess that means that
It's a good line.
Steph's been carrying him.
It's a good line.
It is a good line.
All right, Casey, you're the resident Warriors fan. What do you think?
Sure.
Good line?
Yeah,
It's a good line. It is. I mean, he got punched in the face for it, so he got his, but it's
I think he still won, kind of.
come up with that on the spot. That is good. I don't know. I mean, maybe
Plus,
he had
did
that.
get
Maybe he
paid,
had it in the
right?
bag. He like thought about it months before. He's like, I'm gonna get him with this.
Yeah, I mean, plus he did get paid, right? How much does he make now?
He did get a pretty good contract extension, I think, right before that. Let's see, Jordan Poole salary.
4 years, 128 million. I mean,
Yeah.
how much has Draymond made?
Draymond makes about 25 a year, so he makes a little less.
A little less.
mean,
Been in the league
he's-
longer, but has made less. So who knows? By when it's all said and done, who makes
Making
more in
less
the
per
league.
year. I mean, he's definitely made more over the course of his career, definitely.
Right.
but-
So far, older guy. I think it's a good insult for sure.
it's a
I also
fantastic
think
insult.
there's a lot of truth to it. It just has always felt like what Draymond does. Maybe he is one of the best at it. Maybe he is one of the best at what he does. Maybe, but it feels like there are a lot of guys who could do what he does well enough. When you've got Steph Curry on your team, to be able to be what the Warriors are and to be what they have been. I don't know. Maybe that's just my bias showing through.
I love what Poppin' Fresh said about it. He said, of course he was gonna get punched, but so worth it. I'm like,
Agreed.
yeah, like you said, we didn't know before, and we were kind of like, dude, how embarrassing is that for Jordan Poole? He basically just got sucker punched, didn't get to punch back. Like he kind of like, Draymond Green put him in this like you're my bitch position, right? I almost think he's still like, now that I know what he said, I almost feel like Jordan Poole still came out on top of that. Like
That's what I'm saying. I think he did. I think he did for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had an awful season. Warriors were right
Yeah.
to move on from him. Warriors.
Oh,
were
not
right
on the
to
court.
trade.
Not on the court. Hey,
Right.
did he win?
Yeah,
But
no,
like,
that little exchange, he won that, even though he got punched in the face. Calling a grown man a backpack is there. It's
really
that was good. I could not have come up with that's a comedian level line. I think
Well, I mean, yeah.
He
A
probably-
new comedian, a
Let-
young comedian.
he came up with. I mean, if he came up with it on the spot, it's a very good improv line.
You think he was just sitting on it for days? Just
I think.
oh man, I
What do
can't
you
wait
think?
till Draymond.
Do you think he
pisses
was
me
sitting
off
on it
again.
for a minute?
Just like that mother effer. I'm gonna
Fucking hate Draymond.
well, just
He's
wait till
such
I
a
unleash
bully.
that backpack line. He's gonna lose his mind, and he did. And
Have
then he
you seen-
punched him in the face?
Yeah, he was right. He lost his mind. Have you seen the episode of Seinfeld where like somebody like insults George at work and he thinks of the comeback later, and
Yeah, he's like, I should have
"Oh!"
this. Oh
And he's-
yeah.
He's like waiting to do it, but the guy like transfers to another company in another city. So then George like calls a meeting with that company to do a collaboration with the Yankees so that he can use the line and like set him up for the comeback. And then the other dude just has a comeback for that. That's what the Jordan Poole thing feels like. Like I'm freaking Draymond, son of a bitch. He's always being mean to me. He's such a bully. Thinks he's all that. He's just a backpack.
I think he
Ooh, that's
does
good.
think he's all that. I don't know, man.
I mean, he's-
Draymond's such a complex
Draymond
character.
Green has a solo podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, here's me talking for 30 to 40 minutes. He is the exact kind of guy who would have a solo, but no other NBA player in the league has a solo podcast. Like Draymond Green's that guy who's like, I don't need anyone else. I could just talk.
Yeah. He's a peculiar guy, let's say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about Draymond. I'm torn because, he's a Warrior, so I don't want to say too many bad things, but at the same time, he's still Draymond.
He doesn't seem, it brings a lot of the intangibles, but that's the thing about intangibles is that they're hard to tange, like
Yeah,
how do
you can't tange him at all.
they're literally not tangible. Casey, I think that's the pod. I think we're headed over to Playback. If you are on YouTube still, join us on playback.tv/triplecross. We're going to head over there in just a second, and we are going to pick a $25 gift card winner. So somebody's going to win a $25 gift card to DAP Sports. You can buy jerseys, you can buy other swag, you can buy sports cards, you can buy all kinds of memorabilia with that gift card. If you are listening on audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anything like that, we appreciate you. Thanks for making it to the end of the pod today. Please go in and rate the pod. Give us the 5-star rating and review it if you have a moment. That would be really nice for our egos. It really doesn't help us in the podcast app, I learned, but our egos are important to us. So it would be great. And if you're on YouTube, before you head over to Playback, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the bell icon. That's Triple Cross. That's Funky Friday. Casey, we will see you on the other side. We'll see you in Playback.
We out, son.
Bye-bye now.